Alright, this is going to sound insane, but have you ever felt like your cat knows what you're thinking? Not just reacting to you, but knowing. Like, you barely think about standing up, and their eyes are already locked onto you. Or you decide at a completely random time to head home, and somehow, they're already waiting by the door. Scientists have actually studied this, and what they found? It's kind of terrifying because the deeper you dig, the more it starts to seem like your cat might actually be reading your mind, and we might finally have the science to explain how. Alright, let's start with the weird part. Thousands of pet owners have reported the same strange thing. Their cat seems to sense things before they happen, knowing exactly when their owner is about to get up, before they move, waiting by the door, minutes before their human arrives, even when there's no routine, reacting to emotions their owner hasn't even expressed yet. Coincidence? Maybe. But then Rupert Sheldrake, a biologist, ran an experiment. Pet owners came home at completely random times, no schedule, no routine, nothing the animal could predict. And yet, somehow, the pet still knew. Not every time, but often enough that it wasn't just chance. So what's happening here? First, let's talk about what we can explain. Your body is constantly sending out invisible signals. Your brain generates electrical activity, waves that extend beyond your skull. Your heart, its electromagnetic field is 100 times stronger than your brain's and can actually be measured several feet away. And emotions? They change that field. This is what places like the HeartMath Institute have been studying, how our emotions literally affect the energy around us. So if we, without even realizing it, are broadcasting our emotions in the form of energy, what if cats, who already have superhuman senses, are picking up on that energy? Alright, but here's where things get really weird. There's a well-documented experiment where people were asked to sit in a room, facing away from a stranger. Sometimes the stranger would stare at them, other times they wouldn't. And somehow, the people could feel it. Statistically, they were right more often than chance, which raises a question. What if attention, just thinking about someone, can send out a kind of signal? And if humans can sense this on some level, what about animals? Because that would explain a lot. How your cat knows you're watching them before they look up. How they react to your emotions before you even show them. How they just know things that, logically, they shouldn't be able to. And here's the craziest part. This might actually connect to quantum physics. Quantum physics has this weird thing called entanglement. Basically, when two particles become entangled, they stay linked, no matter how far apart they are. Change one, the other reacts instantly, even across galaxies. Some scientists have started asking, what if consciousness itself works the same way? What if your cat isn't just picking up on body language, but is actually linked to you in a way that goes beyond physical space? Sounds crazy, right? But here's what we know. Some experiments suggest people can sense being watched. We already know that emotions change energy fields, and we know that animals, especially cats, have insanely heightened perception. Put it all together, and suddenly, maybe it's not so crazy after all. Alright, so let's say this is real. How do you test it? Here's what you can do. First, the silent call test. Sit still, don't make a sound. Just picture your cat in your mind. Imagine calling their name in your thoughts. See if they react. The emotional shift test. Without moving, change your emotional state. Go from completely calm to suddenly excited or stressed. Does your cat react before you move? And here's the best one. The home arrival test. Have someone at home note when your cat starts waiting by the door, and compare that to when you actually get home. Do they sense it before any physical clues appear? Does your cat know that you're coming home before there's any logically explainable way it could have known so? If this happens too often to be random, then you might have just proven something science still can't fully explain. So, what do you think? Coincidence? Science? Or something weirder? If your cat has ever done something unexplainable, drop a comment. I'll be reading them. And if you want a part 2, hit like so I know people want more of this. Because the more we learn about reality, the more it starts to seem like maybe your cat knows something you don't.